You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Dominion After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Dominion After Show.
Welcome, AfterBuzz listeners, ye viewers upon high that have tuned in to AfterBuzz.
I'm sorry, is this Arthur's
Dominion.
Knights of the Round Table? What the hell?
It's Dominion. We're talking Dominion here at AfterBuzz TV, which is a show about angels with a lot of biblical things. So I went for more like a biblical.
Because I think of ye
thing.
when I think of biblical.
All right.
I saw where you're.
I'll come in with some Aramaic next week.
Yeah.
To be all comfortable. But thank you guys for tuning in. I'm your host, Zach Wilson. And I'm going to let our panel introduce it. It's the first episode of Dominion. We're talking about the pilot. And so to my left, we have...
Hi, everyone. Yael Tygiel here.
Hey, I can't speak English. Hey, guys. Liz Rishmawy.
And I'm Tauri Miller.
So we just watched the episode. It just aired tonight. And a big... an hour and a half long episode.
Yeah, it was like an hour and
almost.
20 or...
It was a very long episode, but like it was packed full of information. A lot to digest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've got so much to go over. We've got Alex and Jeep. We've got Claire, Ryson and Wheel, Michael and Gabriel, Vega. There's 8 balls running around. Not the drug kind. It's different.
Not the magic ones that tell you your future.
I
I just thought of that.
but let's start right at the beginning. We open up 25 years ago. God disappeared.
Dun, dun, dun.
Which is an instant just sort of rewrite of Legion. For anyone listening home that doesn't know, Dominion is sort of a semi-spin-off sequel thing
It's based
of
off
Legion,
yeah,
which
it's
is a
based
movie
off
from a
of
few
it.
years ago. Yeah, where they're sort of using what happened in there, but bending it and
Yeah.
twisting it, which they start right away with the fact that God disappeared. Because in Legion, they were fighting under God's orders.
Yeah, God was
right?
just like, you know what? I'm done with you guys, and I'm done with your crap. Peace out.
But now him disappearing, I think that's way more interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Because it means that like the creator, the person that commanded these people, the angels, for so many years, Michael and Gabriel were just like, there's a power vacuum. So what do you do? And so we get like a really nice edit in this episode. I think we got a really cool parallel with what happens when there's a power vacuum and Ryson and Wheel rise to the top. But now we have a war between these two angels that has now left humanity running for the hills.
I just wonder when God disappears, and we're basing all of this on the classic theology of God and angels. There's someone that no one's mentioning that was an angel and would have taken over if God all of a sudden disappeared.
Yeah.
Where's that guy?
Yeah.
Where is Satan? That's what I want to know.
I think it's just an interesting twist. I think that just, the writers are probably trying to go in a different direction. They did it from the movie Legion, where, we already have so many movies and spin-offs of things that would happen where it would be a fight between good and evil, angels and demons. And I think that they're just trying to go in a different direction, saying like, hey, no, because even in the movie, it's like you had angels possessing people. You would think that they would be demonic based on everything that happened.
They're saving Lucifer for season 3.
That's what I figured.
But I think
right.
the big thing is that Lucifer has never really had his eyes set on Earth.
Have you seen Little Nicky?
But in the traditional stories, Lucifer is he wants heaven. And what maybe his game is, while the angels are distracted fighting over Earth and trying to wipe out mankind for whatever reason, he's got his game. He's scheming to take
I'm sorry.
over heaven.
I just pictured literally they're all fighting on Earth, and I just pictured Satan via South Park version, up in heaven having his big Halloween bash, dressed as Britney Spears.
So I think after seeing the pilot, we have decided that we already have the plot for season 3.
There you go.
Take note. Right?
Great.
Give us a call,
there's
guys.
it's going to be interesting to see the angels that do come in slowly, like Lucifer, like Peter. There's a lot of names that we will sort of find. People that are built into the heaven mythology that I imagine will slowly be introduced.
Okay.
But let's talk about who we have introduced so
Yes.
far. We open up on Alex Lannon, who we just see him he's creeping into this house. It's we see 3 people at a poker
It's
table.
a casino.
Yeah. Well, it's a casino.
Yeah, broken
house.
down.
Yeah.
Broken down.
House of gambling, if you will.
I will accept that.
and
of cards.
he doesn't watch where he's stepping, and he breaks a glass. Idiot.
Right.
Alerts these 3 angels who are hanging out there, and they of course attack him. And then he gets in his jeep and he's flying away. It was very interesting to hear that to separate the 2 kinds of angels, because they have the 8 balls, which are the lower class of demons, the lowest class of angels.
They don't have bodies. They have to take human possession in order to have bodies.
Yeah, they possess. So these are just people bodies, but then the one guy is a higher level of angel. He has wings.
He's what'd they say? He's a soldier.
He's a soldier.
He's a
yes.
soldier angel. So they actually have the wings and
but not a power, which we'll get into later, because that's a whole other thing. But so Alex they're chasing Alex back, and he gets let into the city. They're like, we don't want to let him in.
Oh yeah, no, I love it too, because he's like, help, and should I let him? And the entire time we're just and at first I didn't even know he would be a main character. I thought he would die, because I literally thought that they were just gonna let him keep driving, and then something was gonna happen, the angel was gonna get him, and it was gonna be the opening into something where somebody was dead outside the wall.
Well, I expected them to both smash into the wall and be like, great. Dominion.
And then he
awesome.
walks out of the rubble what's up, guys? Yeah,
Yeah.
I just crashed my thing into an angel.
Yeah.
And survived it.
Cool, I'm cool like that.
But then we get but then they of course let him in. They kill the angel, and then we're introduced to Vega, which that was this is a crazy society to have formed around Las Vegas of all places.
I just remembered who Vega is. The why I kept on thinking, why does that name bother me? And then I just thank you, thank you for taking that out of my mouth. Thank you for taking the joy away from me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay. But we get this insane view, because if you think about it, Vegas is a very interesting place for an apocalypse
Yes.
city to form up. It's in the middle of the desert, so there's not a lot of places to hide around it. It's fairly centralized. It's got lots of rooms for people to sleep in.
That's what I was thinking when we first saw the casino. I was like, genius.
Yeah.
There's the bunch of casinos have not underground but underground passageways to each other.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be on the street.
Yeah.
Right.
Genius.
And not only that, but we also talked later on as we saw more things develop, which we'll get into later, but this is pretty genius just on a production level part. We're not going to sit there and question where they got this, and this, and this from, because they were in Vegas. Vegas has everything,
Yep.
Costumes and all this other stuff. So, in a
Apocalyptic.
Thank you guys. It's just its mouth's not working today. But it's pretty genius.
So Vegas doesn't have much agriculture, so I'm wondering where all their food is coming
They
from.
mentioned
They mention
agriculture.
an Agri Tower, I believe they
Agri
called
Tower?
it.
Yeah.
Which of course, it's a very legitimate theory that people are designing right now, which is just basically turning a building into nothing but floors of vegetation that can lean out the windows and just grow vertically.
Oh yeah, I remember that part. Okay, that's awesome.
There was so much in this episode.
They've built, there's a lot to take in, and sometimes it was a little bit confusing, I'll admit, trying to figure out the society, because you have House Ricin and House Wheel, and there's
Levels.
a Senate of some kind, but General Ricin is in charge. Those are the pieces that I've gathered about how
Except for that,
the
what's
government
his
is
name?
run.
I've gotten I feel like Ricen's more of the military part of it, and Wheel is more of like the sleazy politician part of it.
Yes, but because they're essentially, they've been at war for so long that it's sort of military rule.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, I mean, it's basically run as a word. I mean, you have levels of different people and everything. It's not really.
System.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a free society.
It really I mean, the system really fell into just anarchy, I guess. Like, none of what remained of the U.S. government is still there.
Nope.
It's not like shows like Revolution, which when it started out was like pieces of the government stayed, or like people claiming to be the government. This is just like, no, we're a whole new thing. We're setting up our own society in 25 years, which is really quick.
Yeah, and I wonder how those people took those roles, and if they actually had any sort of, prior, because I mean, you think about this, the security system they had, even as he was coming through the front doors, and the guns and all this stuff. It's like, I imagine some of those people, they probably did work for the government and the military back before the whole thing happened.
Oh, General Ryson almost certainly was a general.
Ryson.
Before. I mean, he's General Ryson, who's played by Alan Dale.
I love him.
I was like, hey, it's Charles Widmore. And he was also in Cap 2 recently. But great actor. It's sort of like when I was first looking at this series, I saw him and Anthony Michael Head, and I was like, oh.
Giles. You mean Giles?
Giles, yes. It's hard to even not call him Giles, but you see those two guys on anything, and it's like, oh, this looks like it might be legitimate.
Yeah.
That's what kind of, sort of got me excited.
Good job casting.
Yeah.
But what did you guys think of just where the society has come? Like, is it that there's like forced marriage? There's orphans are just instantly lower class citizens.
It's awful. That's terrible. But I mean, I like it because, as we, when we're going to get into this discussion, but we see the two characters, Alex and the daughter of Ryson's daughter, Claire. They start to speak about other towns or cities. There's other development. So this isn't the only place that's been set up. It's not like this is the only city where humans are safe from the angels. And I think it's interesting how they started mentioning another place where everybody's free. And I think it kind of makes it more interesting when you have different cities that run their entire society in a different way, which I think will probably play later on into the series, and we'll see how it goes. But I think that's really cool.
Right. Well, I had assumed that like once all the war was breaking out, different portions of the army were just essentially filtering as many people as they could into different sectors, and then basically from there just kind of setting up whatever structure they could. Like the Helena people, they were talking about how they inherited a helicopter from another army
Air Force base.
They have a whole Air Force.
Yeah, they're the only city with an air fleet.
Right.
So I think it's going to be very interesting. Like, this was this episode was very focused on what was going on in Vega and introducing characters and the rules. And I think now that we've got that done, I think now we can get really into the fun of like the Angel Wars and all the like crazy religify that's going on here. Before we get more into all the different people that we got to meet in Vega, I'm going to take a quick break and talk about iTunes.
Are you?
What is iTunes?
Oh, it's this magical place where you can get all of the shows that we do here at AfterBuzz.
How much?
70 different shows a week.
What?
And that's just currently. Maybe you're going back. You're power watching something. You're power watching Breaking Bad or Helix or who knows what.
Yeah, that's got to be like
They're
worth the expense.
Completely free. No. Completely free. And guess what? There are other places you can get them too, not just on iTunes, but also on YouTube.
Oh my God.
And
they
on
can see our faces?
AfterBuzz TV app on your Android or iOS devices.
Okay, I really didn't know there was an app, so I'm kind of like, what?
But guys, seriously, go on to however you're listening to us now. We'd really appreciate you can go onto iTunes, you can slap this show with a rating. This is a brand new show, so it really helps us out to know what you think of how we're doing the show. If what you like, what you want to hear us focus more on, less on, what you love about Dominion. We want to know what you think of the show, because outside of this room, I bet I don't know a single person that's watching this show yet.
I know lots
But
of people.
you commenting on it and boosting the visibility of this show will boost the visibility of the program itself. It'll help us show that our bosses. It'll help us show our bosses that we're doing a good job.
I'm really glad I'm not the only person who's tongue-tied.
We just watched a very long, very complicated episode of television.
Yes,
We've got
we
a lot
did.
on the brain. But seriously, go on there, slap us with a 5-star rating,
5
I
stars.
hope. And shoot us a comment on YouTube. If you do leave us a comment on iTunes, we'll read it out on the show.
Yeah.
You get a shout
Yeah.
out.
Totally.
And that's if it wasn't incentive enough just to be helping.
Yeah.
But so let's get into it. Let's start out. Let's talk about Claire and Alex.
Yeah.
The couple. There's no really will they, won't they.
Yeah. No.
They clearly already did. When we meet them, Claire's teaching a class of children. She's talking about the chosen one,
their
which
version
is
of
like
Sunday school.
And then Alex walks in. We're like, oh yeah, she's talking about that guy.
Yeah. I love how they tried to keep it like a secret, but like within like 5 seconds of the show who it is. But you know.
I mean, especially if you've seen Legion, you kind of know, you get the idea.
Well, even if you didn't see Legion, you'd still be like, that guy.
It's as soon as he gets brought in after he was outside, and Michael is like, I'm not going to punish you. I'm like, he's the one.
Yeah. Or even
Yeah.
just like, he cannot be outside. You cannot leave or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
that
just
was
the way
what did it
he
for me.
clearly has special treatment, but he doesn't have any special place because he's being disrespected by one guy, and then he's being whipped, and then but like the archangel Michael is taking a special interest in him. I wonder why.
Gee.
That's not creepy.
And it's super weird that Michael whips Alex. Can I just say that? It's like,
It's weird.
what? Like, he's an angel. Like, I get that this is a weird future dystopian society, but like,
So that weirded you out, but not the fact that he is sleeping with a bunch of women.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then, and then
Yeah.
feels incredible guilt about it, which tells me that we're basing the show off of Catholicism. But also, he's sleeping with a bunch of women, and he can get them pregnant.
Yes.
Yes.
That was the
that was
surprising part.
very interesting.
He has boy parts.
Well, it's not dogma.
Yeah, right?
In my mind, it is.
Angels can have children. I think that's established at different.
I don't know. It got confused because then I started thinking about like Greek mythology and like how like Athena got knocked up by Zeus, who knocked up this person, and I'm
Well,
kind of
They
like, huh.
aren't angels, they're gods.
What's very
Yeah.
interesting about the way that they're treating the show is that it's very much, the societies are very much set up like ancient Greece, and like where you have different societies, like you have Athens and you have Troy, and they function very differently.
Yep.
Sparta functions very differently than Troy, than Athens, than anywhere else, and that's I think what we're gonna get is that like Helena. Very different society from Vega, and I mean, I imagine we'll get other societies coming in, like down in Rio or something.
What was
I don't
the
know.
other one called that they wanted
Delphi.
to? What was it?
Delphi.
Delphi.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, going back to their whole relationship, I just thought it was something that, I mean, you got to throw in a romance in there. I mean, you got to plot out things that you're expecting in the show, whether or not you've seen the actual movie. It's just kind of so like, for me, it was just so kind of predictable that of course she was gonna be an important person, and then she turns out to be a Ryson's daughter.
Well, they both are in the same circles because of his connection to Michael, so
Yes.
that they would have interacted. And I think she grew up worshiping the Chosen One. Essentially, you see her praying to the Chosen One constantly with the little hand.
Yeah.
The weird prayer thing that they do now, based on a statue, which sure, why not?
It's like the same.
Statue of Michael holding the baby. It
But
makes
it's-
complete sense.
Yes.
But it's a very interesting thing about the show because she's praying to Michael holding the baby, but Michael's right there.
Yes.
She can see him. It raises a lot of questions of like, where do you draw the line about faith? Because it's not faith if it's right in front of you.
But the chosen one was a myth
Yes.
that they told
Yeah.
And so they
children.
did have faith. And
It
now
wasn't praying
they're
to Michael, I don't think. It was just more praying
Well, it was
that
praying-
the Savior would come forth and save them all.
Yes, and now
Very Jesus-y.
he has come forth, and she knows.
Yeah.
And she slept with him.
Yep.
Well,
That's
we
what I was
assume.
getting at. Yeah.
Subtlety.
What's
But, all right. But so Claire and Alex, like they they have their thing, but then we get to introduce William, who has this creepy, like, you can tell, like, right away.
Creepy, overly excited, and too eager to please and worship this whole prayer, and just, I don't know. It's like, yeah, like you said, it was like way too obvious. He's just...
I think, and I really still believe it, that he thought he was the chosen one. Because when we see his face when they discover who the chosen one is, he looks heartbroken. Not because she wants to be with him, because he obviously didn't know that, but because he thought he was the chosen one.
Yeah, I think so. Well, we'll get into the big twist at the end there later on, but it makes sense. I hadn't really thought as much about that, but he totally had that, like, look of shock. You grow up being saying, you are special, like, you are so good, and, like, he has this sort of faith in something that's not there, and because, like, if somebody that was religious already was all of a sudden saw an angel just, like, fly by one day, they'd be like,
what's up, dude?
They would become much more religious, much more devout, much more willing to give themselves over to the different facets of religion that maybe we all sort of take a step back from, because we're like, well, that's a man wrote that, some guy 2,000 years ago, crazy guy, wrote about stoning people to death. Like, we don't need to listen to everything. But if it's in front of you,
Yeah, so it's like
totally
an
different
affirmation of
story.
faith.
Exactly. And he's sort of experienced that firsthand. And now he has to question it when his prayers, I guess, are not answered.
Well, his prayers are kind of answered. He's been praying for the chosen one to reveal himself for a different reason than everyone else.
Yeah.
But he's just disappointed that he's not the chosen one.
I disagree with you, but I will get back into that later when we start to touch back on the actual twist at the end, which everybody here already knows. If you're listening and you haven't seen the show, why? But, you know.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of other, like, rivalries going on, because we have Ryson and the big Ryson and the big Wheel.
The big wheel.
That's what I'm calling. I mean, we can't keep calling him Giles. So
Yes, we can.
No, with that American accent, we can't.
Oh, that American accent.
That was so. That
Weird.
It's shocking.
It feels like they ADR'd him, and I know they didn't. I know he's doing a very good American accent. It doesn't feel fake.
I like how you said accent really weird.
I know I
American,
did.
Like,
It's
accents.
not intentionally.
I
But-
just want to say I think his son is British as well.
Who, William?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I think William is also
The
British.
actor who
yes.
plays William?
Yes.
We will look into that.
But it was very unnerving to hear Giles with an American accent.
As somebody who actually didn't watch Buffy, don't kill me, but I wouldn't have. I do remember seeing a couple episodes of Past Friends and stuff. You don't kill
Can we mute her?
Get out.
Sorry, no. If anything, you should take pity on me. But I just
No.
think as somebody, no.
That's what you get for not watching Buffy,
More
Liz.
importantly, aside from what Liz was saying, we all do remember that Giles was on an episode of Doctor Who.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, that's right. That's why I know him more. I was like, why is his
That
face
should not-
familiar?
Anyway, we're not going to get caught up on this.
Oh, well, I just wanted to say real quick that as somebody who isn't as familiar with him as other people, I wouldn't have known. I mean, I knew he had a British accent in the other ones, but I didn't know he was a British actor, so to speak. So it's like, it was very convincing.
It's a
the
very
American
good
accent.
accent.
Whatever, mute her.
But it still was unnerving to hear it from coming out of him.
Yes.
Yes.
So what they're dealing with is the delegation from Helena has come into town, and they are, I guess, going to have a trade. They're trying to make peace, like, between these two societies and have a mutually beneficial alliance relationship.
I felt like they had peace. They just wanted a better
Well, they
deal.
want more. They're
Yeah.
trying to make it more
beneficial for everybody.
beneficial. Like, and I think what Wheel wants is really to combine the two societies.
Yeah.
I also think that it's not just a matter of like trying to, you said trade and stuff. I also think it's a matter of one-upping each other too. You want to make sure that, you're letting them know like, hey, we're the big guys here. We have this awesome source of, as he leads her into this new energy source.
reactor.
Well, he built a nuclear reactor.
Yeah, basically. And so there's like internal light. And again, I think it's more of like him wanting the upper hand and to show the other cities or, civilizations or whatever you call them, that he has the upper hand. So I think it's more about playing your cards right. He's that sneaky, slimy politician kind of guy, and that's his game. It's doing whatever benefits him, not even the city,
absolutely.
but him himself.
Absolutely. And the thing about having something like a nuclear reactor is that if you are the only one that has that kind of technology, you can talk every so many different science fiction fantasy shows talk about the idea of power, not just like power is in control, but power is in like electricity, just any kind of like the Avengers, the Tesseract, like so whoever can control electricity in this day and age,
the energy,
the ability, because that doesn't just give you electricity and light, it gives you the ability to manufacture things, the ability to create new planes. Like they're basically stuck using whatever was made before, and the only new things that are being built are essentially weapons to destroy angels, like those fancy targeting systems that are on the outside, or the scanners and all that. It all has to go to that, but you need the power to do it. So he knows that he is in a certain amount of control.
Yeah,
with that
you got to think about it. I mean, they're lighting up Vegas at night. There's some really powerful generators and stuff that they got to keep running. It's like, how are they?
They're using a lot of power for stuff like neon signs.
I mean,
the savior is coming.
Yeah.
The Vega Jubilee. Like, that is unnecessary.
It's
guys.
to keep the people going.
I mean, because you got to understand too. Yes, it has been 25 years. Yes, there are a lot of people who are new into this world or very, very, very young that they can't remember much of the last one. But there's still like a lot of older people in this society where you gotta try to keep up with some of the technology you used to have. I mean, this ain't Walking Dead.
This feels very similar to Revolution all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. There are similarities. Then you add in angels and like some giant religious war, but
Revolution with religion.
And just to say, going back for a second, now that I wonder what an angel child made with a human would become, because I feel like that was almost foreshadowing of some sort.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think we're gonna William, essentially.
Yeah. Or Ronan.
I think it'll be something that'll be interesting. I think there are multiple possibilities.
Oh yeah.
Because what Michael hints at, he's like he doesn't like the small risk that he can.
The small risk of him possibly even, or the risk itself of him being able to have a child, and what was the other woman's name?
Did we name?
Did we even get her
think she got
name?
a
We kept on
name.
mixing her up with Claire, and then we realized, oh no, you're the chick that had, was.
She did look surprisingly similar. I don't
Their
have her
eyes.
name.
I'm calling her Counselor Red.
Counselor Red. We'll call that'll be her name until we discern what it is. Counselor Red.
Counselor Red.
I want to understand if they're having these massive orgies, which they were.
That was a massive, only in Vegas style.
Right.
Can I
Why
say
aren't they
though?
using condoms?
That's the one thing that Vegas didn't have.
Condoms?
Well, because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Except for herpes.
And I was just going to say an STD, isn't it?
But they're staying in Vegas, so it doesn't matter.
I would assume, yeah. Well, I was also going to say, can I just say from like an artistic standpoint though, and liking how, as much as it was supposed to be, oh hey, there's a bunch of chacks that are naked, and like it was kind of beautifully shot, though.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It was beautifully shot to the point where it was respectful, in a way. It wasn't like sleazy in a way. I don't know. It was more artistic to me.
It was
so I
sci-fi as
It was an
opposed to Showtime.
ancient Roman style orgy.
I
It was
appreciated
classy.
it.
It wasn't like
exactly
HBO real sex
like some chick
style.
like doing meth in a corner
All
over
right,
here. And
let's move on. Sorry, do you have a final word on the
think
orgy?
Of the Sistine Chapel, like just with the robes and all the way.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they're clearly going for that imagery,
Right.
Of like of Rome, the way Rome would paint Christianity.
Like the
That's
way you say
what
Rome.
we've.
You like Rome. There's a little treble in your voice when you go Rome.
But so we get, and more of that is that Ryson is trying to bring democracy. He says to Claire goes to say that she wants to marry Alex, which is like she has to ask. This isn't like oh, we're gonna just ask my father's permission. If he says no, well, screw that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Well, it kind of was in a way. I mean, they were planning like, hey, I'm going to ask him. He's definitely going to say yes. But if he doesn't, we'll run away.
Yeah, but this is a society where if he doesn't say yes, like if they did want to stay, that's it.
Yeah, too
they
bad.
have to agree. There's no, oh, we want to get married, so we're gonna go do it. We're gonna go elope,
Which is very
Eloping
ironic
Yeah, 'cause
because
it's
they're in
in
Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah, that's really funny. Eloping means abandoning their society. Because it seems like they're pretty strict about that kind of thing, especially at least Wheel is. But Ryson talks about he wants to step down to let the city be ruled by the people.
Democracy.
Which is a society that's been set up with a caste system, is a very major shift.
Yeah.
It's essentially
orphan girl.
it's Julius Caesar wanting to step down and let the Senate take over, which just ends in the collapse of Rome.
I just don't get why he would assume, like, because he seems like a well-educated man who's been around for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be, what, in his 60s? Late 60s? Early?
He's clearly an adult.
Yeah, he's a grown man.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm sure if I, as the leader, step down, everything will just work out.
I know.
Right.
But it was just why it frustrates me in a way, because it's kind of like, dude, you've been around before the apocalypse happened. Why the reason why, like, well, as
But
much as...
society at that point, society seems to be going fairly well. Everything's functioning. Up to this point in their reign, they've gotten it under control.
Like he said, he wants to move forward.
Exactly. And so he thinks that the war, they've gotten into that lull period where is the war over?
Lol.
Well, but he knows that that David is out for his seat. So I mean, if anything, he should have at least kind of set up the baseline for the society to move on and then left, as opposed to being like, "Hey, things need to get done. I'll see you later."
Yeah, peace
Yep.
out. Like,
Yeah. But the curveball in this is when Jeep shows up, which Jeep he was one of the main characters from the movie, from Legion, which is like the big tie. And like they get rid of him right away because they're like, no more stuff from the movie.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, like, first of all, again, okay, so I just watched Legion like today, like this morning, because I needed to make the connections, which I realized you kind of don't need to.
Nope.
So for anybody who's actually listening into the show right now thinking, maybe I should watch it, you kind of don't have to.
Well, if you're enjoying it, it's worth checking out.
Yeah.
If only to get Jeep's backstory, who was
Right.
because he was originally
And the
played by
babies.
Lucas Black. I mean, it's interesting who they use. Like Paul Bettany used to play Michael instead of Tom Wisdom is the new guy, and it was Kevin Durand
Yeah.
instead of who's now Carl Bukes, who we just got a glimpse of in this episode as Gabriel.
Maybe because they'll bring Kevin Durant back.
I think they're pretty locked into Carl Bukes
But
at this point.
I think they could bring Kevin Durant back.
But I just think, oh, geez, what was I saying?
You
couldn't
were
say
giving
Kevin
the
Durant.
Jeep. Yeah,
Well,
you
but-
were giving the Jeep backstory.
Yeah, but
for
so
people
Jeep,
who don't know it.
At the end of the movie, when Michael he gets killed, sort of as much as an angel can get killed, which is something I guess we have to establish. Like,
Yeah.
can archangels die? But the tattoos that Michael had transferred onto Jeep. And so Jeep sort of he went from like a timid guy who like couldn't even pull a trigger on a gun to a guy who has to step up.
Yeah.
It's now his destiny to step up and be the guy.
That
Also-
movie was like this developed quickly.
Well, the other thing that's really important is in the film, Jeep is not the baby's father.
No, he
No,
is
he's
not.
Which
So-
I don't think I guess they kind of tiptoed around where they didn't say he was the father.
He just
They
kind
didn't
of raised him for a
say-
bit until he left him with the greatest note ever written.
Yes.
Well, you're an orphan now.
Oh my gosh.
That was
That's
we were
either
just all laughing because we're
That's either
horrible people.
The greatest sarcastic humor ever,
Yeah.
or like the most dick thing ever left on a note.
You have to remember that like Jeep isn't the smartest guy.
Yeah, he
No.
was like this country hick guy in the movie with this very twangy accent.
Yeah.
Who-
And
yeah.
even in this one, like he was like, yeah, I went on a few wild goose chases because of a few names I misspelled, so that was a thing.
I mean, I think that was more him just. I mean, I'm sure he's been a little bit more wiser as the years have gone on.
I think it's a struggle to interpret the tattoos that he's got.
Yeah, like one wrong letter can turn to a totally different path that leads to nowhere. So.
Yeah, you end up in York City instead of New York City.
You guys are hurting my claim, trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Oh,
Well, I think
I liked him, and I actually thought it was a very strong performance. I was actually sad to see him go.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was one of the strongest actors in the episode.
Yeah.
Langley Kirkwood he came in for an episode and now he's
For
gone.
like 2
but-
seconds, like when he first came in, I was like, Rick Grimes? Like I didn't know because he just had the beard and he looked dirty and sweaty. But and throughout the movie, I'm just like, shower.
Well, I think the greatest moment is when he asks how Alex is, and Michael says like he's strong-willed and he's courageous and blah blah blah, and we were like, yeah, not like his father, because in the film at least his father was, who knows, some coward who impregnated a woman and left.
Yeah.
Or will we find out that his father was
Michael.
an angel of some kind, or did he not have a father? Immaculate birth. Bomb drop.
No, that chick definitely slept with someone.
Well, I didn't say she was a virgin.
Okay. Well, no, she said so. She knew who the father was and everything. She was bad
She
talking.
knew who she thought the father was.
Okay, so now you're saying bad things about her now. You're saying she didn't know. She knew.
Well, it would be hard to tell if it was immaculate.
She said out of sight, out of mind. She didn't know. No. Anyway.
Right.
Going back
Anyway.
on. So
But so we once we get into the episode, the wheel, they're having the Jubilee, which that it's essentially like a gladiator type thing.
so-
Well, they get to that, but
It wasn't supposed to be.
no, but it's like an entertainment to just give the masses something to do.
it's a celebration
essentially.
to help them remember the past and also to like celebrate the fact that they're in this, they're in the safe haven, considering to how it was back during what they called the elimination,
Which is sort of what ancient Roman, like anything that was in the Colosseum, like the ancient Roman Colosseum was. It was there to distract the people, to celebrate things, to take them away from whatever was
of
going on,
course.
whatever political problems were going on in the city.
But I don't think the gladiator battle was even
No.
on
That
the
wasn't
plan.
originally
No,
scheduled.
that
It wasn't. It wasn't. It just served the same. I'm saying it served the same purpose.
Yeah, because
And
they
then
were having shows before, like the Angel, and it was like theater, like ancient Greek theater. So
Exactly,
they were having
exactly.
that at least.
And then he brings out the 8-ball that he captured.
Yes, which happened to be one of the ones that Alex ran into.
But they do hint that, like, that guy that was in there they'd done gladiator fights before. They say he's like one of our top gladiators, that he killed 22 8
I
balls
don't
in
think
one
they
It was a
battle.
gladiator.
I don't think they meant in like a arena. I think they meant in the war.
Yeah, he
In
was
the war?
he was
Okay.
a soldier,
Soldier,
who killed like 22 of them with a knife.
I guess they're just dressing it up because it's Caesar's
So
palace.
that
but,
was the
like,
thing we were talking about earlier, is that like they're in Vegas, so they have all this Caesar's palace
They
stuff.
pull out with like the chariot and they're carrying things, and it's like
horns.
if this was any other setting, we would be like BS.
I
And
mean,
it's
all
like,
get
those
it.
robes and sashes and stuff, that
yeah.
was just like what the waitresses wore.
Yeah.
It's not really that
Yeah.
fancy.
yeah, I'm still laughing because like I love how they still have like all the makeup, like the girl, like that one scene in the beginning where
She had the list
she had
of
the
stuff.
no, not even the list of stuff. I'm talking about, well, that too. I mean, where are they getting this stuff? But also just the first scene where the chick is talking to Michael and he's like, we have to stop sleeping together. And she had like 3 tricolor eyeshadow. And I'm like, where are you getting this?
Well, the list that she gave him was a list of like makeup
Well,
products.
that was
and
Claire.
stuff like that.
Yeah, Claire gave that. Yeah, so it's like, where are you going? Is there a Walgreens
Yeah.
outside the
Have you
area?
been to
It's
Vegas?
Vegas.
It's across the street from the MGM.
I've been there once.
I know where it is.
But so let's talk about what was a gladiator fight. And, like it was at the end of the day, like, don't worry, we've got it all under control.
Yeah.
And then like we cut
Cliche
to we see
foreshadowing.
this intro, because Michael is very disturbed by this, and then we see that shot of Gabriel as we quickly learn that it is, and he's puppeting this 8-ball and he waves to Michael, and that's when you know that this, like, it's about to go down.
That's when you knew. I knew when, as soon as they were like bringing the thing in, I was like, this is a bad idea.
Well, as soon as they showed the thing in the cage
Yeah.
before it was even
Well, but it
introduced
could
to
have
Jubilee, I was
gone
like,
a
that's
few
a bad
different
idea.
ways at that point. But like, I didn't see Gabriel puppeting coming. That
Yeah.
surprised me in a good way. And that's when this episode for me just like took off, and I was like fully on board again. Just,
When the war began.
yeah, when the whole reason I got excited about the show was angel battles. Like, I'm a huge fan of like any of this like religify stuff, which is
that a word?
It
now.
totally is.
No, it is.
Religify, religious fiction. This isn't science.
Oh,
it's,
I thought you were just trying to be like, I'm going to religify it. Like, I didn't know you meant like a religious
like
science fiction.
the
That makes more
genre,
sense.
The genre of religify. It's a thing. I don't think I made it up. I might have. I should coin it.
Get money.
But we've got the powers, which Michael introduces to, which
Yes.
is the second tier of angels, right below the archangels.
Right.
And so these are angels that you don't want to mess with. And he had hoped that they would stay out of the war completely.
Why would they do that?
Yeah.
Well, if they don't have a vested interest in
Yeah.
it.
They were just basically like, oh, dude, sup, check out the fights today. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it's something I'm hoping that we get more of. I'm curious what you guys think of it. Like, what is if God disappeared, what is the purpose? Like, what is the war for? Like, why does Gabriel want to wipe out humanity? Does he just not like us?
I mean, well, that's what he said in the beginning is he just had a distaste for humans.
Because that leads me to the complex. He just doesn't like us.
If we're referencing the movie, I mean, throughout the whole thing, he agreed with God that humans should be wiped out because we had overstayed our welcome, etc. So
I was just going to say, in the movie, it was explained that the reason they were told to wipe out the humans was because it was like Noah's flood. It was like that. It's the second version of that. Instead of a
Right.
flood, the angels are just going to come and kill us.
But it's just
Continue.
everybody. It's not save the good.
No,
it's just
it's everyone.
everybody's got to
Yeah.
go.
Right.
Scorched
From
earth.
scratch.
Screw the
start
animals.
over.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll raise up some bird people next time and see
Great.
how that goes.
Right.
Awesome.
So I mean, and so one could assume that maybe, and this is projecting into the future, but like one could assume that maybe Gabriel got rid of God and was like, "This is what I'm going to do now," you know.
I just picture like God and like Satan just like playing cards or something. What's going on with you? Not much. You know?
I guess it could be said. Maybe I had the wrong assumption when it said 25 years ago God disappeared. Maybe it was at the end of what happened.
Yeah, it
in
was at
Legion,
the
it was
end
like
of-
after the kid got saved. God's just like peace.
Well, yeah.
because he's 25 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it could have happened. That's something I guess we need to be a little bit more cleared up on. Like, we'll have to go back and rewatch. Did God disappear before the events of Legion and Alex's being born, or after?
Well,
Yeah.
the story, I mean, the episode starts with the narration saying 25 years ago, God disappeared. Then it tells how the
Yeah.
baby was found.
Yeah. So it might just be, again, this is based on the movie, but it doesn't necessarily have to follow it word by word. They twisted things a little bit. They made it
Absolutely.
because in the movie, I didn't really get the feeling that Gabriel hated humans necessarily. He was just following orders.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, they pitch it as Gabriel hates us.
Yeah.
So I mean, he just has a huge distaste for us. Doesn't like it. Moving on though, to the whole scene where Michael gets Michael. Now that was this whole chaos and everything is running around since this 8-ball is on the loose, and now there's just like mass chaos. And
Well, he takes care of the 8-ball, no problem. Michael jumps down. He's like, I got 2 swords. Bam, done.
Yeah, done.
But then
Screw you.
3 angels
should have done that like
invade
5 minutes ago.
Yeah, 3 angels invade the city, and they can only take out one with their aerial like anti-air missiles and stuff. And that's when the one it's called is the
kid?
the angel is called Furiad.
Yes.
Furiad. And they have like this epic battle. Those wings are
I kept on
bulletproof
calling
and
him
looked-
the Iron Man of the angel.
he looked like he's in a full red outfit.
It's like Daredevil and Iron Man had like a love child in angel form. But in the movie, the wings were bulletproof too.
Yes.
Yes.
But
So-
I just think it's really interesting that the powers angels they look metallic, like they're armored.
Yeah, they
They're
look
wearing
awesome.
armor.
Yeah.
Because they take it off and
Yeah.
he's bald. But why are they wearing, like, they wear armor, but no one else does? And yet the wings without the armor are still bulletproof.
Well, the non-archangel angels are not bulletproof. They're taken down.
Right, but got it.
So
I see
maybe
what you're saying.
the
see what
powers
you're saying.
aren't bulletproof the same way,
Yes, I
but
see.
they have armor and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also
But so
important.
let's keep going, like, because we're running along here, guys.
But also really important, it is mentioned powers can also take form of humans without being detected.
Well, that's as we're about to get into
Awesome.
is what happens with the kid
Rowan.
that Arika from Helena.
Yes.
Arika from Helena
Good
brought
job.
Who's married
the
to
kid-
Evelyn.
Yes, who we have not met. Brought this kid into it because she thought he might be the chosen one because he's a savant. He knows 20 different languages.
They clearly
He
don't
can
know that it
play
was
the
25
piano
years
very
ago.
Well, but the chosen one could be coming at any time, and I can understand that. Like, that might not have been a literal Michael saved this baby at this time.
Okay.
Also, the Rowan could lift the sun.
Oh yeah.
That was
There was that
crazy.
one
In the,
scene. Yeah, what was that
in the-
scene? Was he actually lifting the sun or just like, oh, hey, look, sunlight?
I thought it was just him, like, getting up as the sun.
Yeah.
But it
I
did
don't think
look
he's
like
that
it did look
powerful.
like he's just like,
Ah,
I am
sunlight.
Apollo.
Yeah.
Sunrise.
That's what I was thinking. The whole Apollo thing.
I think it was just like he was getting up as the sun rose.
I
Right.
disagree.
Well, I guess we'll find out because we think he's just a citizen boy, and so they bring him into
The panic room, so to
like
speak.
the panic room, yeah, where they take the leaders of the society to go watch and make the decisions,
and Bix.
and the little Bixby,
I
but that's
love
just because
her.
she was with Claire and Alex, who needed to be in there
Because they
And
were
they
going
didn't
to
even
run away.
question
I just
it.
want to feed her and let her sleep. Did you see
Well,
those
she's
bags
so
under
thin
her eyes?
you don't even notice her there for
my
the
God.
longest time.
Luna loved.
Well,
But
we're
so-
skipping that they were going to escape and they decided not to and to stay.
Yes.
Yes.
Moving on.
Again, this is a very full episode.
Yes. And a lot is happening at once, screaming people.
Yeah.
So.
And because Claire was betrothed over
Yes.
to William.
We totally skipped that.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah. So basically, flashback. Okay, like she just stands up and basically is told that she's proposed or she's now
Engaged.
I think
engaged.
she only in that moment she smiles because she's like, "Well, I'm out of here."
Yep. And then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Well, heaven breaks loose.
Well,
anyway.
Bad heaven.
But so out of nowhere, we see the kid like sort of wander into in the panic room, back in the panic room.
Did they just have like what was that? Like cheese and crackers? There just happens to be cheese and crackers in the panic room.
There's
snacks.
No, but like what?
Have you seen Hunger Games? In the Capitol, there's always food.
Okay, but it's different. This is a panic room. They weren't planning to have a party or gathering.
always
just
food.
too convenient for me.
Well, either way, there's reason for there to be a knife. Like people eat, they have a knife
A
around.
cheese knife.
Yeah,
Cheese knife.
But a cheese knife is enough to kill somebody.
Okay.
It's blunt. It's sharp. It's blunt. It's sharp enough to go through skin, though.
Blunt and
You
sharp.
got the right
is
spot. You're good.
opposite.
Yeah.
It's sharp, but it's sharp enough to go through
With
but
enough force
blunt
in a
enough
stomach.
to do a lot
Yes.
of damage.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he just goes and
he
grabs
gets-
it.
and stabs Jeep.
Poor
And,
Jeep.
and that's it.
He already
and
had to deal with that dumb name.
Alex, and we're like, oh, Alex didn't even get to make up with him.
Yeah.
I wanted Alex to write on a Post-it, "Oh well, looks like you're,
You're
dead."
Well, now you're dead.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to learn how to live in society while you're dead.
And in that moment, he whispers to Alex, "You are the chosen one."
You were ready.
He's like,
You
we
are the
were
chosen
we
one."
were talking about telling you, but I guess I got to do it now. This is the last opportunity.
It wasn't even a whisper because everyone heard it.
Yeah, well, he needed to.
Well-
Everyone needed to hear it,
Right.
and he knew that, like, especially Wheel needed to hear him say that, because I think the idea was that they knew they knew that Michael and Jeep were the only ones who knew the identity, and in that moment, even Wheel's like, no, there's no way, that's not a thing. And Michael's
Well, because
like,
he knows that people are going to then start wanting to follow the chosen one, and that means that he loses power. And again, he's like this. You can already see him playing a big part into like another bad guy, but not so much bad, like not as bad as Gabriel, perhaps. But anything that could risk him losing any sort of power or leadership role is obviously why he doesn't want to tell anybody. And I think he's in denial of that himself because he's so scared of losing his own power. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he tries to comfort William about it, but William's like, no, he's the chosen one.
he's the one.
Like, he's the guy we've been waiting
Yes.
for.
It's awesome.
Dang it.
And so he's just, they arrest Arika.
Yeah, because they think he blames her, saying that she knew the whole time that the little kid Rowan was the angel.
Reasonable to take her in,
Right.
like sort of thing. Like you bring this kid in, and the first thing he does is murder somebody.
Yes.
That's very important.
However,
Climb up the wall and jump out of.
Yeah, I mean, it's
vent.
clear that he was. I mean, he's an angel, and
Yeah.
it's clear that like he was going undercover. But like, so you gotta take her in and question her and deal with all
question at least, but at the same time, the points that she can make that are very good is nobody knew that Jeep was back. Everybody thought Jeep was dead. So it's not like she could have known, oh, hey, you're going to kill this really important guy with tats everywhere. And two, I mean, like she said, it wasn't even really her. It was her wife's favorite kid who just wanted to see Vega. That's the only reason he was there, was he was some sort of favorite. I don't think it was that they thought he was the chosen one per se. It was just he was a very special child to, what was her wife's name?
Evelyn.
Evelyn. Was that it? And then he just wanted to see Vega. So they just, took him along.
Yeah, but so we're getting close to the end of our little podcast here. So let's speed along to the end, and Michael and Alex are talking, and he's like giving him basically his mission. Like he has to decipher these tattoos. He has to figure out what it is, because he is the one who is destined to save us all. He's the one. You are the one, Neo.
He is the savior.
And he's like, you have to be able to interpret this, and he's telling him to look at it and like, can you read it? And he's saying no, and then he looks down, and the tattoo starts to move
into English.
And what does it say?
It says, beware of those closest to you. So of course, when Michael asks him,
do you see something?
Do you see anything?
No.
No. But of course, like the way he was looking at his arm, he's like, whoa.
Remember like one of those like puzzles that you had to like cross your eyes and like pull it away from you?
The magic eye.
Yeah, the magic eye. I thought his eye probably like looked like that, and he just looked cross-eyed like, no.
But it's like basically, I mean, it's obviously Michael knows that he saw something, but it also makes sense that he would say no when like the weird mystical tattoo says beware of those closest to you, and like that's probably the closest person left outside of Claire.
Yeah.
Or Jeep,
and
who's dead.
Yeah.
I'm just going to laugh right now and just flashback real quick. I was laughing at his girlfriend. Basically, we were making jokes the whole time that she was like praying to her boyfriend. Yeah. And then she goes and she bows down. And he's like, just get the hell up.
Like she is. I mean, and then even after she finds out, she goes and she prays to
her baby boyfriend.
The statue
baby
of
boyfriend.
the baby of the guy she's sleeping with. It's very
weird, creepy.
It's going to be very weird
Super
to
creepy.
see how that goes. But speaking of how that's going to go, let's go into predictions.
But
And now,
Wow.
you're after
who's Michael working for?
William, you mean?
William.
I mean, that's what we got. We got a little bit of a glimpse in the preview.
Yeah,
of
which
what's
is
to
what I was
come.
just going to say. I don't think that he was surprised that he wasn't the chosen one. I think that he's been working for Gabriel for a very long time, and he was super excited. And that was just a surprise look because, look, the chosen one's been under his nose the entire time. And I think his excitement shown to his father, the chosen one was just that he was excited. He got to report to Gabriel that he found the chosen one.
But that's really, I mean, that was a really crazy thing to like reveal there at the end, was that like William is Gabriel's son.
Do you
Which
think
I heard that, right?
He
Like,
said my son.
Yeah.
I don't think he meant it literally.
yeah, he didn't mean literally.
Okay.
He's
I thought he meant
Will's
it like-
son.
Like the way that God uses
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
David's son. You mean
Yes.
William is
William
But-
is Big Wheel's son. Big Wheel.
yeah. But I mean, I guess it was, maybe I took it too literally.
Yeah, you took it
I
too
don't think it was that he was his son.
But either way, he's an agent of Gabriel.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
they established that are angels hiding in Vega that they have to now hunt out. That, I mean, that's gonna be fun, like seeing who all these angels are that pop up, who are hiding there. Are they powers? Are they other archangels? Are they just like soldiers? Like the soldiers they can sniff out, so they have
Right.
to be powers or above.
I mean, it's possible that the 8 balls found a way into Vega.
Right.
Yeah.
It's possible, but the 8 balls, like, they show like the teeth, like they check
Right.
teeth,
The
little
at one
baby
point.
shark teeth
So
and
I
the
think it
eyes.
has to be powers and stuff, because that's what they established
Yes.
with the kid, with Rowan.
I'm really looking forward to, and I'm sure it's not going to happen for at least a couple more episodes, but I'm really looking forward to seeing if they go on any excursions outside Vega into these other cities. I want to see how these other cities are run and how they're going to play a part in the season.
I'm sure we'll get there.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll take that
I'm
helicopter
impatient.
from Eureka and go visit Helena or Delphi.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very interesting season. I think we're going to see Alex sort of break away from Michael. I think they're going to have it's inevitable that they will have a rift
Oh yeah.
of mistrust. I don't think we've seen our last orgy.
Good.
Definitely.
We better not.
Yeah, do you want to call anything right now?
I call Michael impregnating whatever that woman is.
Who are you?
Claire.
No, not Claire. The
woman
chick.
who's not
Oh,
Claire.
yeah.
The chick that
Sorry.
looks like Claire, 'cause she has those big bluish gray eyes. and
Counselor
she's-
Red.
Yeah,
Yes.
Counselor Red.
But so yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what it means.
Yes.
What would a baby of his?
I'm also
be?
going to say
Gonna
that
look heavenly one wing.
if she gets pregnant, I think it's going to be a less than 9-month pregnancy.
Yep.
That's
Yes.
what I'm putting on there.
And I hope it's a
Okay.
girl.
Okay.
Nice.
That's it.
I'm hoping that. I'm assuming that at some point David is going to try to kill Alex, and I'm hoping. And I like Giles. I like him a lot, but I feel like he has to die at some point.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know that he
season
has to
end.
die. He's definitely
Yeah.
the bad guy. I think he sticks around. I
Right.
think
He's the bad
gonna-
human
but,
guy.
like,
It's I think it's inevitable
from his son.
he'll kill Ryson.
yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, Alan Dale does not stick around on shows.
But like, I mean, as the season goes on, I mean, right now the humans in Vega are fighting like a two-front war. It's the angels on the outside and David on the inside. Mm-hmm. So,
And with William, is it the same thing?
Yeah.
well, yeah. I mean, we have the acolytes, which are the people who worship the angels. So, I mean, now it's a three-front war.
Yeah. I also want to know how the hell he got out. I want to know if that's a way where, however he got out as the spy of Gabriel, I want to see more 8-balls go in and chaos, and that's why they have to flee to other cities and
It's
stuff.
definitely going to be an interesting season, and
Yeah.
we'll be here bringing it to you from AfterBuzz TV.
Yeah.
I think that's going to do it for the first Dominion
I'm spent.
panel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for tuning in. This was fun. I can't wait to do it again next week.
Yeah.
So let's go around the horn. Yael Tygiel, where can the people find you?
The people can find me online at yell.tv, and there you can find information about The Styling by Siren's Boudoir. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at Yael Tygiel. That's YaelTygiel.
Yay. Hey guys, I'm Liz Rishmawy. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Lizzie Maui, LizzYMawy. You can also find me on other shows here at AfterBuzz, including Sword Art Online with my buddy here, Tauri. And you can also find me on this Sunday for our season premiere of The Musketeers.
Cool. And I'm Tauri J. Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Tauri J. That's TauriJay. And as Liz said, on the Sunday Sword Art Online panel.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at ThatZachWilson, ThatzachWilson. And also coming up in a few weeks, I'll be on The Leftovers.
What?
Which is going to be a lot of fun.
So jealous.
But yeah, I'm Zach Wilson. Thanks for geeking out with us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.